Need some glow sticks to go with this music. They've taken flight from us right at the beginning here. I think it would actually be kind of interesting to learn, I suppose, what the infection kind of represents in this world. Shit. Apparently, I don't want you to jump over that one. I don't necessarily remember those in the previous build of this that I played either. Let's say that they weren't there. I may just not have been paying any mind to what was happening around me. Well, that didn't work. There we go. It is kind of a, I guess, unfortunate side effect is the more you die, it feels like you can kind of just pattern break like these lasers and moving buzzsaw blades and whatnot, because they are at least seemingly kind of... Oh, fuck. Well, that was expected. Anyway. It feels like those, a lot of the patterns that you run into are kind of designed for the first time, and then the blades and stuff, once you've encountered them, at least seem to continue to move or maybe hold the pattern that they're in, so it doesn't necessarily break the sequence that you find yourself in, but it does make it significantly easier to progress once your car has been destroyed by whatever it was that you messed up. Which I suppose is kind of unfortunate. There was a shortcut there that I probably could have made, but that worked out. These are like I guess the closest thing to another vehicle that, at least as far as I remember, you actually run into in the entire game. I think by... Fuck. I blew myself up, apparently. Yeah, I don't think I can actually get back up on there, which is really unfortunate. But it does show, I guess, the kind of splitting alternate paths and whatnot that you can take through this game. There was three paths, and then the third, I guess, like shortcut path that you had to boost through there had its own divergent. Fuck. It's not gonna do us any good there. So let's just try that over again. Awesome. Fantastic. There was actually, essentially, my point is there was 4 paths that you could take through that particular. I didn't see really any chance of us coming back from that without any rear tires on our vehicle, so I'm just gonna try that again. But there was 4 paths that you could take, which is pretty interesting. A lot more ways to go through a single passage than I feel like you would find in a lot of games like this, where you're trying to push through a track. There was a... Ah, yes. I think I remember finding... Oh, well, apparently I wasn't supposed to boost through that. Oh, well, there we go. It was a close one. Monolith. Let's see if we can find that monolith. Hopefully it's... Whenever I think of Monolith, it actually always reminds me of, I guess it's actually more of an obelisk that it reminds me of, but that big black stone in the beginning of 2001, the monkeys and their bone clubs. Nice high stakes. I did not make that. So let's jump. There we go. Okay. Well, let's... Don't die. Don't die. We died. There we go. The frame rate there seemed like it was chugging a little bit. So let's hope that, okay. I don't know if that's a product of me recording, but I'm willing to say that it's most likely a byproduct of also the computer that I'm playing more so than anything else. So if that frame rate change even... Oh, I don't have tires on my front end. Okay. I wouldn't let that be representative of any opinion that you should form, if it even transfers into the into my final product here that I will be uploading to the YouTubes for fame and glory. So what I found actually, because you're using your right stick to control your boosting engines, your thrusters, is that it's the easiest to use because you can't control your angle while you're... You can't control your angle while you're in the air like that, so it actually does you absolutely no good to... it doesn't do you any good to... Shit, well, you know... It doesn't do you any good to use your left joystick, so it is, at least in my opinion, easiest to just kind of move your finger over there and handle it that way. That being said, well, past that portal. When you have to make a kind of a quick turn, not go as planned, to like adjust your course, it doesn't work fantastically. For that kind of thing. Didn't work. These are actually kind of some of the segments that I think are the most interesting, but with me being distracted by theoretically providing you guys insightful commentary, are also the most difficult. Well, I'm going to attribute that 100% to luck. So congratulations me, you've done it again. You wily bastard. Anyway, those like fast-paced changes are kind of a welcome change when they come about from just kind of dodging these buzzsaws at whatever pace your... It's just... There we go. At whatever pace your boosted movement's going through, or if the portion of gameplay is too difficult, just your regular unedited or what's that word I'm looking for? Unboosted. It's effective enough. Your unboosted speed. Apparently my car is going through some kind of boot sequence, and I should pay more attention to the course and less to the unreadable characters flashing on my screen, probably. That would probably be beneficial to... Oh, I could fly there. Okay. Well, you know, when you fly and it's telling you where all that shit's gonna be, you should probably not be there. This game has some really nice effects. They're no, you know, AAA polish or what have you, but for what they're trying to do, I feel like this game really just does everything fine. Like, this is just a really solid game. I guess I can't really say that enough. Clearly something has gone awry. I was supposed to go down, I'm assuming. I definitely think this game is worth some amount of dollars. I assume it's probably like $15 on Steam or something like that. It feels about right for the game in its present state. I guess if it's anything more than $15, $20 maybe, at its highest, I would maybe second guess it until it's a little bit more feature complete or it goes on sale. Indie prices I think are kind of like in a weird state right now where like people release their game for numbers that no longer necessarily make quite as much. Well, okay, well, hi Cube, we'll hang out. Anyway, the games don't release with like at least as predictable like price patterns as they used to, right? Like, you get games releasing for you know like $30 that I really feel like just a few years ago on Steam would have probably been like, you know, a $10 or $15 game. But I suppose that was also, you know, with there being so little competition on the market, there wasn't as much competition. Actually, I guess that makes sense in exactly the reverse situation, where they probably could have charged more previously. I guess when there wasn't, like, there was an indie market, right, but there wasn't kind of this movement of independent publishers having Steam as an easily accessible platform, so you had to kind of price under these I guess somewhat budget priced like AA indie titles with your game that you've been developing on the wages of whatever job it was that you're holding down on the side, or whatever money you had scrimped together to try and fund your project, or private investors, or small private investors and whatnot. Oh, okay. Well, Do we? Okay, well, that appears to be the end of it for the adventure mode of Distance. So let's see what happens here when we finish warping to Sector 7. Oh, apparently, oh, credits, cool. Let's see what this raceable credits track has to offer. I guess I'll kind of give my closing thoughts on the game while we go through this little segment. I think this game's pretty awesome, all things said and done, or said and told. The controls feel really tight. I never feel like the car is squirrely or doing anything that I don't really want it to, as long as I manage to keep all of my tires on the ground, and the car really just works in a fairly predictive way. What's gonna happen there? Yeah. So, like, if I tell the car to do something, like, it's going to do it. The sequencing all feels good. Everything, all said and done, feels really decent. Apparently you can meet the guys in Gamescom if that hasn't already happened. I'm assuming that maybe, well, might not have. Anyway, it's just a really solid game. There's lots of courses available, tons more, Rainbow Road, etc. See if we can so update our workshop levels, I guess. And then I guess there's this thing, so let's just submit this Von Plat level and see what we get. So they're doing what everything that they can to kind of offer us more content to make the game worthwhile. It's a really nice level. Well, I mean, this is a nice level, I guess, but I meant it's a nice game. I definitely recommend it. $15, $20 does not seem like a high asking price for what's available right now, which for an early access game, or at least my experience with early access games, is a great thing, because I personally am rarely happy with the state the game exists in on early access, and also with games, you know, Space-Based DF9, etc. I believe it was Space-Based DF9. Whatever that, whatever that game by the folks at Double Fine is, that will never, ever be complete now, because they ran out of money. And rather than just sinking more money into it, because they never saw the break-even point coming to them, they just decided, screw it, we'll just throw level editor tools and let the community build the content they want. Hopefully something like that doesn't happen with this game, but I think it's really unfortunate that games like that are, how would I rate it? I like my name, so that's fine. I think it's really unfortunate that games like that are allowed to exist on Steam, and that's kind of the state that at least part of the independent movement of game developers and publishers exists on Steam. But enough of that kind of talk. Distance, it's in beta. It's a good game. Buy it if you like what you saw. This has been Von Plat playing, and if you liked what you saw, you should like, comment, subscribe. If you don't like what you saw, you should dislike. Send me a comment. If it's constructive, I'll probably reply, tell you thanks. If it's not constructive, I'll probably not comment. So constructive criticism always welcome. Like, comment, subscribe. Thanks, guys.